These images show Ukrainian troops destroying Russian tanks with well-aimed artillery strikes. The footage begins by showing at least 4 Russian tanks lined up on a slightly elevated mound on the battlefield. The images then show the first one being hit by artillery fire, before the second one also suffers a direct hit. 2 tanks seen next to each other can then be seen smoking, with one on fire, before there is a sudden explosion destroying both of them. Meanwhile, the pro-Russian Luhansk People's Republic has said that its forces thwarted a Ukrainian attempt to break through their lines in Donetsk. The footage purports to show at least 3 pieces of Ukrainian armor advancing down a road, with more then seen coming up behind them. The Ukrainian armored vehicle at the head of the column can be seen opening fire on unseen targets before it appears to be hit by pro-Russian artillery. Ukrainian soldiers can apparently be seen lying injured or lifeless on top of the vehicle, with at least a dozen Ukrainian soldiers taking cover by the side of the road, at the bottom of a small slope. The area appears to be hit by pro-Russian ordnance as the footage ends. The images were obtained from the People's Militia of the Luhansk People's Republic, LPR, on Thursday, December 8th, along with a statement claiming, in the Soledar area, artillerymen of the 6th Regiment of the 2nd Army Corps of the LPR prevented an attempt to break through by the armed forces of Ukraine. We have not been able to independently verify the claims or the footage. At another place, a Ukrainian counteroffensive in the country's eastern Kharkiv region rapidly freed territory from Russian control in September and sent Russian President Vladimir Putin's troops fleeing. Roughly 3 months later, an official from a Ukrainian brigade that helped liberate the region has provided a new look into how Ukraine managed to take back one of the last Russian strongholds in Kharkiv, Vovchansk. Shortly after announcing a counteroffensive in the southern Kherson region in late August, Ukraine launched its surprise push in September in the Kharkiv region. Ukraine said later that month that it had freed the vast majority of the region from Russian control. Vovchansk is a Kharkiv town just 3 kilometers, or a little less than 2 miles, from the Russian border. Andrei Nezmian, press officer for Ukraine's 113th Brigade, told the Kyiv Independent in an interview published Friday that Russian forces in Kharkiv collapsed upon facing pressure from Ukrainian troops. One of Russia's lapses in its occupation of Kharkiv, according to Nezmian, was that it positioned its front line in the region over hundreds of kilometers and did not build second or third lines of defense. And in Vovchansk, Russian soldiers did not take basic defense measures like preparing strong defensive lines behind the first line and positioning someone on a high point for reconnaissance and snipers, Nezmian said. On the other hand, Ukraine had a leg up in its efforts to retake Kharkiv because many of the soldiers in the brigade were locals and had personal knowledge of the cities and villages they were trying to free. Additionally, Ukraine has adopted NATO standards of warfare while Russia's military is still largely centered on Soviet-era standards. This means that Russian troops' ability to adapt in difficult situations can suffer due to the strict control of Russian military officers, while Ukrainian platoons and battalions have the freedom to make decisions on how to achieve their objectives on the ground in real time, he said. Vovchansk locals also provided some assistance to Ukrainian troops, though being caught doing so put them at risk of torture or death, Nezmian added. Since the town was liberated in September, many residents have left over fears that they could see additional fighting, a remaining civilian told Radio Free Europe. The Ukrainian state news agency Ukrinform reported Friday that just 4,500 of Vovchansk's 17,000 residents were left and that the number of those who remain decreases every day. The exodus of Vovchansk residents has coincided with stores, pharmacies, and other businesses shutting down, according to Radio Free Europe. Though Russians no longer occupy the town, Vovchansk has not been immune to the impacts of the war, which began on February 24th and continues to rage after more than 9 months. Russian missile attacks against Ukraine have left Vovchansk's dwindling population without heating services, Ukrinform reported Friday, citing city authorities.
Действий личным составом взвода было ликвидировано 12 штурмовиков Су-25 и 4 вертолета Ми-8. Одним из наблюдателей была замечена пара Су-25.